guys, hello and welcome back to the SpursRelated YouTube channel. It's been a little while. We're back doing the regular uploads, and it's been a busy few days without not having any YouTube. I mean, let's talk about Richarlison, let's talk about Djed Spence, let's talk about Eriksen, let's talk about all sorts of transfers and updates, including a little bit about the current situation with how much we're going to spend, and also maybe looking a little bit further to the future in terms of maybe Daniel Levy, ENIC, and where they sit, with a bit of news from Alistair Gold. But as always, guys, it's a pleasure to see you all. It's been a while. I haven't got my headset today because my other laptop broke, so I'm on another laptop. So little bit of technical issues, but we're still good. We're still live, and we're with, of course, Andre and Jack later on. But Andre, first of all, mate, how you doing?
Doing well. It's been quite a bit of time. You know, with the transfer window, I feel like 1 week or even a few days, so much happens. So we have lots to talk about.
So much to talk about. I cannot wait, indeed. I mean, there's already 20 of you across all platforms. Absolutely loving the support. Even when we haven't been live for a few days, you guys will rock up. So let's welcome in some of the Spurs-relatables, shall we, Andre, and see how they're doing. See how they're feeling about maybe some transfers coming up. Because, I mean, we're so used to leaving everything last minute that Spurs fans are upset that we haven't signed anyone in a week or two. It's crazy stuff. Who would have thought it'd be like that? But let's see who's in here. It's Cole Simpson, of course. Evening, gents. Rumours coming out that Arsenal are going to pull out Raphinha Chase now. They have Jesus. We need to swoop in. Yeah, not a fan of Jesus. I'm glad they're going to get him. And Raphinha, wow, very good player, as I've said in previous episodes. Zach Birkin, always good to see you, mate. Thanks for joining. Xiati, always good to see you too, mate. Same as Finn. He's in Finland. Wow, Finn, how is that going? Sukil's in here. Good to see you, Sukil. Said Spurs inquired about Gvardiol. 42 mil. I'd be surprised if we get him for that price. Joe's in here. Legends. Joe is definitely up the pub with the boys. But still, look at that dedication from him. He's saying he thinks Richarlison will be amazing. Said it all summer. Wow. Yep. I still need to convince him. But listen, it looks like that one's getting closer. Sukil was saying we can buy Gvardiol for £50 million. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure more people will flow in. Like I said, 20 of you across all platforms. Please do smash the thumbs up, guys, as we continue this kind of journey on YouTube and Facebook and everything else. And make sure you subscribe. If you're sitting here watching, not subscribed, smash the subscribe. It means you can talk in the chat and ask us questions and give us good talking points. Neville, nice to see you, mate. It's been a little while. Hope you're doing well. Exiati saying he will. Garrison here saying COYS, Gvardiol, Richarlison and Spence, we got a great deal. If we get Gvardiol, and Rem will be cooking, absolutely. And Gvardiol will be expensive. He thinks he can play multiple positions, Richarlison. We'll definitely get into talking about that. And Gvardiol will be the biggest transfer. Jack's in the waiting room. Here he is. Jack, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Looking forward to doing a stream today. We haven't done one for a while, but we're back bigger than ever after hitting the 1K mark. So, yeah, looking forward to catching up with all things Spurs.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Will Gvardiol play right wing back? No, he'll play centre back, like Finn said. But let's just crack on. I've just introduced the Spurs-relatables. While you haven't been here, Jack, there's already 20 watching. Absolutely great support. Let's get into things. Guys, ask questions. Make talking points as we go along. As always, we love to do it. But handing over to Andre, who will get us kicked off.
Great. So, as everyone heard, just quickly before we touch on Raphinha, before we touch on Richarlison, I have to mention Raphinha here. It's looking like he's closer to an Arsenal move. And that has sort of been the big factor into what we do next. And it's looking like, since that is the case, we are headed towards going to get Richarlison, our number one target now when it comes to the forward positions. On my end, I personally think that this would be a great move, especially if, I wouldn't say losing out on Raphinha, because it's looking like we don't want to get into a bidding war. Why get into a bidding war over someone when you can possibly get another player who might be just as good? Even though the last video we did talk about which forward we would prefer. But honestly, at the end of the day, Richarlison would be great. And if Conte wants him, that's totally fine. It's looking like, I believe the valuations around 65 million for him. And they're even working to see if there'd be any players they'd be interested in. I know that Winks is one of them. That's been not the biggest of news. We've known this for a while. They're really talking about that, but it's looking like Everton might want a loan with obligation to buy. However, Spurs are looking towards getting the money now, which makes sense. This is the window to get all the players, or as many as they can, and then work their way up. But might as well get into the new season with as many new players as possible. However, something that's sort of been a little bit new with Matt Law coming out, that Lucas Moura might be a player that they're considering to add to this whole player plus cash scenario, especially if the Winks thing is a separate deal. However, I'm also hearing from Alistair Gold that it's looking like Lucas Moura might want to even just see out his contract. His contract ends in 2024. So at least from my perspective, this might be a very complicated one. We could add Winks to it, or we could just get him and then get some players out there. I don't know. The whole Everton thing, it just keeps changing. I don't know. This is looking like a very complicated one.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack, what were your thoughts on all of this and Richarlison, and what do you think is going to happen? There's people in the chat. It's such a split fan base. I've seen polls that are 50-50 with like thousands of votes. Do you want him or not? It's very evenly split.
I think that the way we spoke about it, we're all massively split. Like most of the time, Joe, I think I've convinced you. If you saw our video where we had 150 million to spend, Richarlison was actually one of the players I brought in. I would be more than happy if I saw, well, I know there's credible links, but start to see developments on this. Don't get me wrong, I'd be very excited. But after seeing the Raphinha links, after seeing a lot of players, like some people even talking about Joao Felix, that's not very credible, but we're talking about high-profile players we've been linked with. I'm starting to think, is there better players? But I still believe Richarlison's a great player. I think he's a good player, and he's very versatile. And to come into Conte's system, we need versatility. We need someone who can play across the front three. And he is a goal scorer. Like, I think he's only had one season in the Prem where he hasn't got more than 10 goals. So he's not, don't get me wrong, he's not a bad player at all. He's not one to get me completely off my seat and think it's a groundbreaking move, a real statement signing. But it's probably a smart signing. And if Conte and Paratici want him, then I'm happy.
Yeah, 100%. Exiati saying we need Moura. We may talk a little bit about Lucas Moura as well, because a little bit of news did drop. I think Andre may have mentioned it from sources earlier. Finn saying he'd rather chase. I don't know if this is a joke or not, but this guy is good. Anthony Gordon over Richarlison. Listen, he might be one for the future. It might not be a terrible shout, but then you never know, how good he could be. Everton are also searching for Conor Gallagher and Gilmore. Yeah, Everton are on a mission. I mean, they're going to take so many of our players we don't want.
Well, they were in a relegation battle. It makes sense. Get good players in. And I personally think Lucas Moura would do very well at Everton. I think he would be able to start pretty often, especially if Richarlison goes. But it would be up to Lucas Moura if he wants to go there. I don't think any player really would want to go from Tottenham to Everton, especially in the position we're in right now.
Absolutely. Jesse Osei, Conte has to bring Ndombele in. Wow. Straight off with an unpopular opinion, I guess. Maybe there's still life in Ndombele, according to Jesse. Maybe not. We can certainly talk about this at some point. Time to act like a big club now. Get all the rubbish out and replace them with a powerful squad ready to attack on all fronts. I completely agree, Carl. Completely agree, mate. What exactly do we need to see in Richarlison? He's arrogant. Mardy, he's way too aggressive for me. His defo isn't getting in this starting 11. Again, maybe we'll have a little talking point about this, Spurs lad. Wow, the comments are really flowing in now. I think most of the players coming in will be from Italy. Yeah, Christopher, I can see that as well. Can you boys see that as well, Andre, Jack?
100% I can see that. Paratici, I think I saw Alistair Gold say he spends 4 days in Italy and 3 days in England. Obviously, this league the Serie A is his bread and butter, so he knows all about it. And there's a lot of talented players in the Serie A. Let's be honest, to start the window, every other day there was a new link with an Inter Milan player. And Zaniolo links that I'm sure we will talk about on this stream started to hot up from the Marzio. So there's a lot of players that I'm sure we're interested in. What about you, Andre? What do you think?
No, I agree. I think Paratici, he knows who he wants. We're linked to many players. That's the way Paratici works. And a lot of journalists have said this. For each position we're looking for, we have at least 5 or 6 players in that list. It's just they don't reveal all of them, because why reveal all your cards, right? So the way I see it, I'm not surprised. He's been there. Conte's been there. They know the players that would fit the system. They know the players they wanted before, and they've seen how they've grown now, and they're like, you know what, time to pull the trigger. So let's see what happens when it comes to that, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Elvis is in here from Facebook. What a legend this guy is. He says, hey guys, it's been a while. I hope you're good. All good over here. He said, this may be controversial, but I think this is a great buy. Premier League experience. He can play out wider up front as a backup to Kane, where we have much needed depth. I think the price tag is too high, but a player that would definitely improve the team. I'm handing over to Jack for this, because everything Elvis has just preached there, Jack kind of agrees with, right, Jack?
Totally agree with Elvis. I think it's very smart. He's basically repeating what I'm saying. I'm sure he's thought of it himself. I just believe it's a smart signing. Goals, assists, works hard. If Conte likes him, we should like him. We should believe in what he's done. We've seen Bentancur and Kulusevski be brought in. Let's be honest, not groundbreaking signings. No one, we lads, personally, I think we can all agree, thought is going to hit the ground running like they did. So I believe Richarlison's a smart signing, not groundbreaking. But like you say, Elvis, I would like to see him be brought in.
That price tag's a little worrying though. 65 million. I don't know.
If we can get out Winks and potentially Moura, that could be brought down to 30, probably. With Winks and Moura are probably 30 million combined, I would say.
More, surely.
More. But
yeah, you're forgetting, man. It's Winks. It's Winks.
Winks is worth 20 alone. So if Winks has got 20, what's Lucas worth? You know.
Yeah, but Lucas is also older, so he probably hasn't got that high price tag. I'd probably say they're a similar price. I could see us getting Richarlison for 25 to 30 million if we gave them Lucas and Winks. But I feel like Lucas wants to stay at Spurs for another season.
Yeah, he wants to see maybe out that contract.
But he'll also want to play with Richarlison, maybe, right? I know they wouldn't necessarily start together. I know they're a similar position, but also like maybe in cup games, Lucas, Richarlison, and Son could play well as a free, and also that Brazilian connection. I'm sure they're good mates. If Richarlison is hungry, I'd love him, but he's so on and off, exactly. Ian Bradley from Facebook saying Richarlison would be a huge mistake, selfish player, and will cause too many problems in the dressing room. See, I'm loving these talking points. Sandro saying, Jesus, lower XG than Werner.
Oh, no.
That's unbelievable. Richarlison is a fantastic player. He bangs in goals in a dead Everton side fighting relegation. He would definitely be a very good signing. See, it's so split. Like, one comment is, I don't want him, he's got a bad attitude. One comment is, he's a class player. He's been banging in goals for a rubbish side. It's just crazy. Here we go. Zach. So, Richarlison can play all 3 positions. Raphinha is better on the right side. So, to be honest, it's a good deal. If we had the chance for João Felix, he would be a priority. Wow. Maybe we talk about João Felix at some point, guys. Raphinha, better buy, creative and attacking option. Also can use his wing. I agree with Neville. On this.
Yeah, I was going to say we could quickly, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but as a talking point, I think we've said it before. Would you rather Raphinha or Richarlison if you were in the hot seat?
Yep, let's see what the chat says. We'll throw it out there now. We're forgetting that Richarlison under Conte would be amazing. Yeah. Conte would turn up Richarlison much better. Look, Carl and Xatiati, is it the same person? They're saying the same things. They're saying Zaniolo deal can be a loan with obligations to buy. Probable 11 next season. Lloris, Romero, Dyer, Gvardiol, Perisic, Bentancur, Basuma, Spence.
He's talking about the alternative right wing back options. I know what he means.
Oh, okay. Singo. I'm not sure. Who's that?
Singo, Bruno, Claus, Jonathan Claus from Rennes, I think. Okay. They're all right wing back options.
Right, okay. Sukil's got the proper knowledge on right wing backs, better than me. So, yeah, but on that basis, we should sign Timu Pukki, True. I also think that good with their own development, we need the likes of Scarlett, Devine, etc. to go on loan, potentially. And finally, from Sandro, I think Richarlison is a great signing. He'll work hard under Conte, and he's like an attacking Højbjerg. He does the dirty work for the squad, which is absolutely essential. Well, guys, let us know as we go along, Richarlison or Raphinha. Bang it in the chat. But let's move on to the next subject. In the meantime, back to Andre.
Great. So while we were on that right wing backs, actually, let's bring up Spence. I think that It's been a hot minute here. I don't know why we haven't really done anything. We've been linked to this guy for weeks. This is like classic Tottenham. We're being linked to a guy. We're apparently very keen on him, and nothing's being done. Chris Wilder himself, he said that, Djed Spence, he's expressed that he's like, look, if Tottenham come for me, I'd like to go. But Tottenham haven't yet. We haven't done anything. And Chris Wilder himself is saying that. And if nothing gets struck up, he expects Djed Spence to be training with them and to just carry on like as if he's going to be part of the Middlesbrough team. So we'll see what happens there if we do pull the trigger on Djed Spence. For all we know, it could be that they want a certain amount of money and we're sitting there going like, no, we're not about to spend a whole bunch of money on a player who had a good season. But other than that, it's not like he's done that every season. It's the one season. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And
True.
when it comes to that kind of stuff, where we've paid the price, unfortunately, the heavy price of the one season wonder. So let's be realistic with this. I'm very happy if Spence comes. It looks good. But if we're about to spend a whole bunch of money, I'm not about that. I don't want to see a mistake being made here. And I think that's why they're being a little careful with it. But we'll see what happens again. We know that we were saying, let's wait until he comes back from the international break or things like that. But I think this week might be the key week where we make a decision. Do we go for Spence? Do we not go for Spence? Chris Wilder has said the deal has to be right. So to me, that maybe indicates we're lowballing or they're highballing, one or the other.
I think what I read, maybe I'm wrong, but I think they both said that they expected deal to happen, a deal to materialise. So there's still positivity. But for me, and I've said it on my tweets a couple of times, I feel like there's a chance Spurs might be using this Spence deal as a smoke screen. If you remember, Tommy Yasu, the whole window, was saying, well, we expect the deal to happen. It's a player Spurs really like. And I wouldn't be surprised if Spurs are looking at maybe alternative options that they think are more ready for the Premier League, because Spence is a young, raw talent. He's a very good player on the face of things, but it's only been in the Championship. So I would not be surprised if Spurs are looking at high-profile players that they believe are ready to come straight in. Because for me, if we were starting the season just with Spence, just with Emerson, just with Doherty, one of those three, that none of them, as decent as they all are, none of them fill me with excitement. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's alternative Spurs are looking at. But I wonder what the chat and you guys think of that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point. It might be a smokescreen. It might be that we're looking to sign someone even bigger that we, these names just suddenly come out. Yeah, I mean, think of Bentancur and Kulusevski. Not the biggest names, but we were questioning it. It came out very last minute, like in the last couple of days. Bang, huge signings. We might be linked with someone for 2 days and sign them. We've been linked with Spence for about 2 months.
Yeah. And that's the party. I think Spurs in recent times, if you look at all our big deals, Basuma, literally on the day, it was bang, done. Like, if you look at Kulusevski, there was a few rumours that we might have liked him, but then all of a sudden, Fabrizio Romano, we want him. Like, I think Spurs, because they've learned from the Diaz deal and a few high-profile signings, if he gets rumoured too much, then the other bigger teams come under our nose and take them away from us. So I think Spurs like to keep it all in-house. So I wouldn't be surprised if there'll be some big news soon and we've just gone and got the deal like more progressed. Because let's be honest, guys, who likes to hear Spurs have inquired? Spurs have done this. Spurs are negotiating. Spurs are finding a way for a fee. I just want to see the deal's nearly done. I want to see him holding a Spurs shirt and ready to play for the club.
Look at this point from Carl. Exactly. None of us knew about Basuma. Wake up. Bang. Basuma's done.
Yep.
Like, it's crazy. Maybe we need to do more of those videos, Jack, where we get a 200 mil budget because we just called everything in that, didn't we? Right, a few comments. Let's have a look. Suga was saying whether we should buy Aurier again. Not for me.
No.
Tottenham offered 10 mil. Middlesbrough want 20. Wow, did we? I thought we offered more than that. It's because he wants to come to. It's because he wants to come to Spurs. Levy is using his famous negotiating. He knows Spence wants to move, but there's no urgency. Same thing happened with Grealish. We have to move ASAP or we lose him. Yeah. Technically, we regretted Grealish. I mean, certainly for a couple of seasons. So many free transfers we can buy for a right wing. Right wing back Neville Murrigan is saying valuation on Spence 10 mil. They want too much, like 15 million or so. See, I don't think 15 million is too much for him. I think.
No way. That's.
You know what? I
20
remember
mil would be
hearing this one thing about the Spence deal, though, which is that I believe it was Alistair Gold was sort of just, he talks a lot about different things, and something that I believe he mentioned was that Paratici is mainly looking at those forwards right now. That's the main concern here, because again, with Raphinha and all that stuff moving around, they don't want anyone taking Richarlison. They don't want a bidding war. They want to get something done, right? So it's looking like they're in charge of that, and Levy is the one who's sort of overseeing the Spence thing. So, it kind of makes sense that we're inquiring for the past, 2 weeks? We're doing the classic Tottenham, waiting till the last minute. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that might not materialize. 3 million. That's 3 million too much. Sorry, guys. That ain't happening.
True. Let's like I said, guys, I just tweeted out on Instagram. That makes no sense. I just posted on our story on Instagram that we're live. So maybe a few people are coming in from there. Our views just jumped. Like I said on there, smash your talking points in the chat. Let us know your thoughts on, the Richarlison updates, the Spence updates. Do you still want that to happen? Put it in the chat. We'll literally bring up pretty much every comment to have a talking point, guys. And if you are watching on Instagram, come on over to YouTube. Make a YouTube account if you haven't got one, or just smash the subscribe on your account. Content coming to you all summer, all long. All long? That makes no sense. But listen, Alex is in here. Thanks for joining, Alex. Hope you're well. He says, thoughts on Gvardiol. I'm going to leave Jack to answer this one.
Yeah, massive fan of Gvardiol. I think I've said it a lot on this channel earlier on in the window when we were heavily linked with Gvardiol, heavily linked with Bastoni, Pau Torres news. I've always been a massive fan of him. He's 20 years old. I think he's got over 100 appearances already for RB Leipzig, which is absurd at his age. He's a very sought-after centre-half. I think the rumoured fee for him, though, is £80 million. I saw Alice Gold report today. That is crazy money for someone who is still inexperienced. As good as he's been, we're talking more money than Virgil van Dijk. So we're talking, I think it might even be a world record transfer for a defender, and that would seriously smash Tottenham's transfer record. So for me, it's very unrealistic. But if we did spend that sort of money on him, I would be a bit concerned. But at the same time, I'd be like, wow, it's a real statement signing.
Exactly. Good. Well said. 80 million, though, it's a risk as well. We don't know how good he is. He's kind of been around for one season, really, hasn't he?
Yeah, one season. But then again, if we did sign him, it would be a serious statement, wouldn't it?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. They gave Levy Spence to keep him out of the way. That would make sense, That would make complete sense. That's why we've been getting so many signings done, right?
Yeah, that's true. Sandro is saying probably what a name Sandro is. Sandro the legend. What a remember that goal he scored against Man United. What a banger that was.
And Chelsea, he's a banger against Chelsea.
Yeah. He's saying problem is Conte wants his signings before July the 9th, pre-season. Levy can't keep stalling deals. I have more faith in Paratici than I do Levy. I think, Sandro, everyone echoes you on that one, to be honest with you. Spurs interesting as signing. What am I doing? Ciao Hanoglu. Guys, get that clipped up. I just had an absolute, malfunction. Carl Simpson saying, what I could see Pau Torres happening as that has gone so quiet. Yeah, maybe we're doing it on the silent treatment on this one. Finley saying can't be any worse than Maguire. Splash the cash Levy. Yeah, I mean, Man United spent 80 million on Maguire. Surely Gvardiol is better value for money than that. Right, guys, let's get into our next talking point. Guys, like I said in the chat, there's about 30 of you now, which is incredible support. Smash a like and also comment some of your thoughts. Do you want Richarlison to happen? Do you want Raphinha to happen? Do you still want Pau Torres to happen? Let us know. This is a huge transfer update video, and we're only halfway through. Let's go.
All right, next one. This one's been building up. It's Joe Roden, sort of in the talking mix here because of these Zaniolo links that have come up. Ideally, it's that Joe Rodon, we would like to get him out, whether that's on loan, whether that's selling. Based on what I've seen, any deal, just get him out, get our wages going, get him going somewhere where he'll get some game time maybe. We'll see. I think they're unsure when it comes to that. I know that Olympique Marseille and Sampdoria have inquired about him, but one particular club that has inquired about him that's made it a bit more interesting is Roma. And when it comes to Roma, there's a player that we apparently are looking at, and that is Zaniolo. Personally, I think that would be a pretty great signing. And something that we'll discuss a little later, another midfielder that we have sort of diverged from. But you know what? I think I would rather we go for Zaniolo. What are your thoughts on this player?
I know.
Sorry,
can I just give my quick thoughts on Zaniolo, because I have seen quite a bit of him in the Serie A for Roma, and I've just got to say, I always analyse the disciplinary record on players, like I did with Richarlison, saying he gets a yellow card every other game. This guy is genuinely a yellow card machine. 28 games played, 12 yellow cards, a yellow every other game. Season before, 26 games played, 8 yellows. In fact, in the last 3 seasons, he's got 30 yellow cards just in the Serie A. That is quite a lot. And I mean, he hasn't even played every game in the Serie A. So,
how many red cards, though, you know?
How many red cards? 2 last season in 28 games. That's 1 in 14. So, I
don't look into it too much. I think it shows their aggression. Like Diego Costa, him at Chelsea, he got a few red cards, but oh my word, wasn't he brilliant? His aggressiveness, his composure in front of goal, he's just bulldog mentality. Chelsea fans absolutely loved him, and I don't mind it. If you show passion for the badge and you're smart, you don't lose your head in the wrong moments, then I don't mind it.
Lamela, yeah, I mean, he didn't get many reds, and he was a joy to watch. He used to get a yellow card.
Lamela was brilliant. I think he did maybe not lack quality. Maybe that's a bit unfair. Maybe he wasn't as good as we hoped he'd be. But as a Spurs fan, we loved him, didn't we? He was good fun to watch. He did provide moments of brilliance. We also saw that Rabona in the North London derby, and the Rabona. How many Rabonas has this guy scored? He scored too many.
Yeah, exactly. Just quickly, let's get the chat's thought on this one. I think it could be a good move on loan to Roma, especially as Conte does like him. Suki was saying Juventus interested in signing Zaniolo, so we're going to have competition. We're lacking for a creative midfielder, so I love Zaniolo. Offers a new dynamic. Forget about Lo Celso. He was a write-off. The thing is, his stats concern me a little bit. I'll get into it in a second. I think Zaniolo is good, but loads of people who watch Serie A say he's injury prone. Missed 11 games with injury problems last season. Wow.
2 ACL injuries as well.
Carl wants Zaniolo. I know people freak about the ACL. I did the same thing and my knee came back stronger after recovery. Look at that, Carl. Absolute baller. Conte can teach Zaniolo not getting yellow card or red card. Yes, Akil, very good point. Very good point. Bit of disciplinary from a top manager. And personally, I think Zaniolo over Eriksen. Just remember they say the same thing about Romero. He was a yellow card machine. And look, he's turned out to be a dream signing. To be honest, Romero is still a yellow card machine. But like Jack was saying, he does it in the right moments. Bit of aggression. Like when he left one on Richarlison against Everton. That was funny, wasn't it? But let's get Andre's thoughts on Zaniolo, because I know that you potentially like this guy.
No, I would think that this would be a very good signing. Other than the fact that maybe if he is injury prone, not so much. I don't want another Lamela case where he plays a few games and then he mysteriously is injured for about 10 games. But if that weren't the case, then yeah, let's bring him in. And that was the other midfield I was really talking about, which was the fact that Eriksen, between him and Zaniolo, I think you should probably get the guy that is rising towards his prime rather than someone who may be towards the end of his prime. But that's just my take on that.
Okay. And Zach Crumbs, I was reading the chat. Jack, not Zach. What do you think? Would you definitely take Zaniolo?
You know what? It's an interesting one because I used to love watching Zaniolo.
We
Zaniolo.
can't talk today. What's going on, lads?
I know, shocker. I've been out all day playing golf in the hot weather, so that's my excuse. But no, Zaniolo, a player I do actually really like. I think he's really exciting to watch. He even showed his quality in the Europa Conference League final. He obviously scored the winning goal for Roma. I think he's got that strong physique. I think he's over 6 foot. He's strong with the ball. He's quick. He's got that elegance on the ball. He's like almost like David Ginola. Maybe I'm bigging him up a bit too much, but I just like watching him. He commands that presence. So I would like to see him be brought in, but I don't want to see him just being brought in as the only attacking signing. I feel like he's a player that can play centrally and out wide. So I'd like to see him being brought in as a creative player, providing squad depth along with someone like Richarlison. It's a player I'd definitely take, but not for the wrong fee. I wouldn't pay more than 40 to 45 million pounds for him.
Okay. 40 to 45, did you say?
40 to 45 million, I think, would be a fair fee, but I wouldn't want to pay any more for that due to his injury record, and he hasn't got the stats that require to be more than £1 million, I'd say.
Okay, interesting. Sandro, loving these comments from you today, mate. An absolute game changer in the talking points. Ali Gold said you can't really take that yellow card, red card quality out of their game because it takes a lot away from the player's play. Romero is a good case in this point. He gets yellows, but if you take it out of his game, he'll be less aggressive and more passive in challenges, which is what makes Romero a beast. I completely agree. If you said to Romero, stop getting yellows, he wouldn't be as good defensively because he flies into tackles, then creates a chance like he did. I think it was one of the games at the end last season. I think it was Newcastle, I want to say, when we won 5-0. Dived in, tackle, bang, and then got the assist for the assist. It was brilliant. Sika was saying we need a free kick taker. Chawanoglu is more free kick taker. And we need a dead ball specialist. And why can't we just keep Eric Dyer in set pieces? He's perfectly adequate here. Just Kane hogs them all. Yeah, good point. Good point. Isn't it crazy? We're saying 45 million is a reasonable price. Yeah, the money in the game is just crazy. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, 45 million would be breaking records 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago.
Honest, what is his stats as well? I did know them, but I'm just going to quickly confirm them.
Just very quickly, in terms of in the Serie A, 28 games played last season, 2 goals, 2 assists, which kind of concerns me a little bit. 4 goal contributions in 28 games.
£45 million as well. That is a lot of money for someone that would know that.
But to be fair, this is what I remember. He smashed it in the Conference League. 12 games played, 6 goals, 3 assists. Very good. Very good. But yeah, Serie A, 4 goal contributions in 28 games.
7 goals, and he was only in it for the group stages. So,
and he's only 22 though, so could be worth a risk on this guy. But anyway, guys, if you have any more thoughts on Zaniolo, strong opinions, smash them in the chat, of course. But let's move on to a more familiar face now, Andre. Right?
Oh yeah, exactly. While we're talking about Zaniolo, we might as well talk about the player at which sort of ties in to this whole transfer, which is the fact that Eriksen is sort of still thinking about what club he wants to go to, and it's looking much more unlikely that it's one of us. It's more Manchester United or Brentford. He has talked about how Champions League isn't the biggest thing for him, and I've said this before. Look, Eriksen used to be part of our club. The way he left was a little bit, I didn't leave a good taste in my mouth for that. The fact that he's sitting there really thinking about it, sitting there for 2 weeks. Spurs are doing what I thought they should do, which is move on. They're moving on, looking at other transfer targets. They're still keeping an ear out in case Eriksen does decide that he's interested in coming to us, but we're not going to sit there on our knees begging him to come back. We have better options out there. We have things to do, signings to make. The preseason is right around the corner. And it's looking like Zaniolo might be one of the ones that we're inquiring about now if Eriksen really does decide that, Brentford or Manchester United are better suitors for him. Fine.
Do you think Zaniolo is an alternative to Richarlison, or do you think that he'd be someone being brought in alongside?
Different players.
No, it's a different player. It looks like Eriksen might be making some sort of decision this week, and by the looks of it, it won't be us. So it's time to start looking at some more creative midfielders, other ones.
The only thing is, I know it's definitely not us currently, but Spurs, like you say, we are kind of under the radar. I feel like for someone on a free, unless he's commanding ridiculous wages, maybe it's something that Spurs decide, right, we really want you. And because he has the affinity with Spurs, I don't think it's dead in the water yet, because Fabrizio Romano, he's still putting us in all the tweets. He's saying we're looking at other options. But if Spurs all of a sudden decide we need another central midfielder and we don't want to spend 60 million on Zaniolo or Maddison, then it could happen. There's a chance. I'm not saying get your hopes up, but I wouldn't say it's dead in the water.
I don't think it's
water either.
Sorry, I was just going to say on Andre's point, I nearly corrected you, but I didn't want to ruin your thunder. I don't think it's to do with Eriksen not wanting Spurs. I think it's to do with Spurs not wanting Eriksen. I think we would have got it done by now if we really wanted him. I don't think Conte and Paratici have got Eriksen even near the top of the list. I think they're looking at more, expensive options, because let's be honest, we want to invest, not go back to what we had before. I think if some of them fall through, I think Jack could be right. I think we might just sneak in. It looks like it's between Brentford and Man United, but it's changing every day. I mean, the other day it looked like it was Man United done. A couple of weeks ago, I was telling people to stop listening to the in the nose that said Eriksen was done because it's not tier 1, it's tier 722 source. And guess what? It was, because it didn't happen. And the other thing is, Brentford, of course, he loved it there. He did really well there for 6 months. They're obviously very heavily linked, and maybe they'll just go back in and maybe he'll just say, look, I'm going to stay there for a year and see how I do. Maybe he's looking at away moves, maybe back to Ajax. Who knows, really? At the end of the day, more clubs could go back in for him.
Interesting on that.
I'm not saying it's dead in the water. I'm just saying that Eriksen has been very adamant that he is thinking about his options. And the fact that, yes, obviously it would make the safest bet would be to include Tottenham in these conversations because he used to play for us. But the fact that he's sitting there really thinking about it, we're sort of moving on. Look at all these different transfer targets that are coming up, right? We're already thinking about Zaniolo now. It's becoming a little bit clear that it's more unlikely that he might not choose us, which, again, I'm not going to really be that upset about it. I respect him for all the stuff he did. But at the end of the day, if he wants to go somewhere else, cool. We have a preseason and a season to get going. We need to get our signings done. I don't want to sit there and waste more time for a player to think about if he wants to join us.
Yeah, exactly. Finn Sonny's excited to see Alfie Devine. Spurs don't seem to want Eriksen, says Zach. I agree. That's what I think. Carl made a funny point here saying Eriksen would prefer to stay at Brentford than go to United. Well, why is Eriksen getting all the disrespect? I don't think he's getting disrespect. I think it's to do with Spurs maybe just don't want him and maybe they don't want to move back for what they had before, because that's what I was saying originally. And to be honest, if we got Eriksen, I wouldn't be over the moon. I would be happy, but also I wouldn't be really sad if we didn't get him. That's how I'm feeling at the moment.
You said that all along. You haven't changed that at all. So
no, and I won't. If we sign him, I'll be like, cool. All the Spurs Twitter go, oh my God, yes, we got Eriksen back. Let's smash in the free kicks like he did in 2013. I'm not being funny. We're nearly a decade later. I'm not saying Eriksen's a bad player now. I'm not saying he's an amazing player. I think he's still a good player, but I just think we might head for something else. That's what I'm saying. It's a Spurs thing to do. We'll probably sign him this week. Yeah, exactly. Who knows?
James, it's off track, but who would you bring in? Are there any names where you're like, I'd love to see him at Spurs over Eriksen in that sort of role?
Yeah, again, it's a good point. There's not a lot of creative midfielders out there. Maybe this Zaniolo could be an option. But I haven't seen us linked with too many. I don't want to just pluck a name out of the air because it's probably not going to happen. Carl's saying Sabitzer. Yeah, that's a good point. Sabitzer, but I mean, he went to Bayern Munich last year, so I doubt that's going to happen. Spurs want new players in the right age group. We need young and exciting. Scarlett and Divine are balling for the 19s. Welsh guy's saying, James, have you got a new haircut? No, I think what you're not used to is me not having the big earphones on. I'm on a different laptop and the mic doesn't work. So, yeah, potentially you didn't realise it was shorter on the sides.
Zaniolo, 100%.
Charanoglu and Zaniolo. Unhappy at Bayern and wants to leave, apparently. Roy Hart Lane's in here. Big up, mate. Always smashing in the comments offline and online. Felix. Yeah, Joe Felix, maybe.
Do you like Felix, lads? What quickly on him? I know there's no credible link as a player.
Listen, just very quickly on João Felix. He was meant to be the star boy. Went to Atletico Madrid. Didn't quite cut the mustard. Quite quiet. Clearly a talented boy. I mean, saying boy. I mean, he's probably 23 now. I mean, would I want him? He's just going to want such high wages, and I think Atletico Madrid probably have quite a high release clause, right?
Yeah, I feel like they put all their eggs in one basket when it came to Felix, and I feel like that's not really Felix's fault. He didn't choose to be considered the next Ronaldo or something like that, because even the transfer fee alone was humongous. So all that pressure for him just after having one really good season, I don't blame it at all.
Do you know what it reminds me of, Andre? And to be honest, I don't mind how it goes at Liverpool. I don't hate Liverpool. I don't really like Liverpool. But it's like Núñez, right? Núñez had an amazing season at Benfica last season, one season, went for a ridiculously high fee. How's he going to do? Is he going to be like a João Felix, or is he going to be like a Luis Suarez? Who knows? But you're right, though. João Felix literally played one game in the Benfica first team, 26 matches played, 15 goals, 7 assists, basically a goal contribution a game. Then went to Atletico Madrid and only got 6 goals in his first season. Then he only got 7 goals, 5 assists in his second season, and 8 goals, 4 assists in his third season. He hasn't reached double figures for Atletico Madrid yet. And you might turn around and say, well, James, he hasn't played a lot of first-team football, but he has got a lot of chances, and it doesn't seem like he's cut it there, really.
Yeah. Jack, you got thoughts?
No, you're speaking facts. You're speaking facts. But just for that excitement factor, watching him play, I think he's a fantastic player still. I'll take him in that heartbeat. He would fill me with a lot more excitement than Richarlison, even Raphinha, to be fair, just because I think he has that star quality, and I think it's about time he shows that quality. Odegaard, for example, was at Real Madrid, touted as one of the biggest wonder kids in world football at a stage, commanded a massive fee at a young age, didn't live up to his hype there, went to Arsenal, and to be honest, watching him now, I think he's a fantastic player for them. So a lot of players slowly develop, and they just need that game time. And I think with Conte, a manager that will believe in him, maybe he'll start to show his quality. So I would love to see him be brought in, but then I can understand why we wouldn't be willing to pay such a high fee and high wage for a player who hasn't got those numbers we need to see.
Oh yeah, hell no. For the right price, then maybe. And at the end of the day, I've always been a big believer in under the right direction, under the right team, a player can be like amazing, right? Look at Lukaku at Inter versus when he went to Chelsea. It's night and day in terms of what kind of player he is.
Exactly, this is what Zach's saying. Like, trained by Conte, would gain his Starbucks status. Crumbs, I'm all over the place. Starboy status back. Yeah, click that one as well, guys. Starbucks status. Crumbs. Alamin is in it. It says, "Come on, you Spurs. I'm just joining the show right now. COYS in Conte we trust. I'm a Tottenham Hotspur fan from Africa, Ghana." Look at that. We got fans all over the world, guys, in different continents. America, Africa, like Ghana and Africa. Wow. Big yourself up, mate. Thanks for joining. Really do appreciate the support. It's good to see you, my friend. Elvis is saying to Eriksen, emotional, says, getting back, well, player for us, and I say for him, but once it's done, the second time around, it doesn't work. Thanks for the memories. Christian Eriksen, top player, but get to your best. Option is Brentford. Chris is saying that 103 million for João Felix, probably the release clause. Starbucks status. Absolute shocker, Finn. Army, here he is. Late to the stream. Really hope his fourth signing provides a massive statement. Hoping for Gvardiol due to the rumours today. Are you after them as a sponsor? That'd be pretty good. Spurs-related Starbucks. That rings quite nicely, and they probably pay us quite a lot because their coffees are about 800 quid per bun. But listen, let's move on to news about Steven Bergwijn, which came out today or yesterday. I can't quite remember, but it's over to the main news, man.
Yeah, well, this looks like we're on the advanced stages for him. I've always been saying that Ajax really, really want him. He is a top priority. And I know that there's been a few clubs, that they've been inquiring for players to bring them out. But Ajax have done their, all of their selling. They're basically done with that. They are now in to go and buy players. going into that market to get them. And one of their biggest ones is Bergwijn, about 25 million euros. They've agreed to a fee more or less like that. That'd be about 21.5 pounds. And, I think they finally realized, fine, if Tottenham aren't going to change on their fee, then I guess we'll meet it. And that's been the expectation that Tottenham have had when it comes to Bergwijn, is that they want to make as much of the money back as possible. Because I believe we bought him for about 27. So we'd just be losing out on a little bit, but you know what? We have to cut our losses. It's a player that's been given a lot of chances. We've done many analysis on him compared to Kulusevski, the amount of appearances he's had, all those kinds of things. And I know, we've been a bit split on everything, but you know what? I just got to bring it up right now. I called it about, like a few months ago, when you guys gave me so much crap about Lucas Moura and Bergwijn and the fact that we should probably sell them, Bergwijn before Lucas Moura, but at some point they're both going to have to go if the team is willing to go and win something. And here we are in one video talking about both of them potentially going to other clubs. So, yeah, but Bergwijn, it's looking like that's going to be the case come July. He's out.
Yeah, I mean, Bergwijn's probably almost definitely going to happen, isn't it? Unless something awful goes, wrong and Ajax don't stump it up a couple mil. Lucas Moura, I don't think we've got enough hard evidence yet. I don't even think we posted about it because we weren't sure if it was, fully tier 1. But news does seem to be coming out more and more, so we probably have a proper update on that tomorrow. But for me, I don't think we should get rid of both. And the reason being is, unless we genuinely get in a player that is a lot better than them, provides, a bit of versatility, like, Raphinha can maybe play a bit central and wide. And he's probably, when I say probably, he's better than both. And Lucas Moura is obviously going to be one that is hard to take. I nearly cried when Dele Alli left, and that sounds pathetic. But Jack looking at me. Jack, did you not get upset about it? I was actually upset. Seeing all the emotional videos, the montages, it was like.
It was, James. I understand.
Yeah, Jack did really, but do you know what? It was just but it was I was happy to see Dele Alli leave because he was meant to leave 3-4 years ago. But it's the sentimental thing, especially with Lucas scoring in the finals. I think everyone's going to get all emotional because he scored in the Champions League semi-final, and rightly so. That's what I'm saying about. That's why I compare it to Dele Alli.
Second half Champions League final, Dele Alli tearing it up. These are players with their cult heroes. So it's hard. Well, no, Lucas Moura, you've probably got a better argument saying he's a Tottenham legend because he took us on one of the best rides we've ever had as a Spurs fan. Dele Alli tore it up. Like you say, it's more sentimental factor because they probably haven't shown that quality that they probably could have done over a longer period of time.
Okay. Cool. I mean, listen, Lucas Moura, we need more evidence on this. But Stevie B is a real shame, but he deserves to go first in football. Good luck to him, agreed. This transfer really hurts. He never really reached his full potential. When he scored that goal against City, I was mesmerised, and I really believed that he would complete our attack. Good luck at Ajax. Yep. Stephen, bring in the money for us. We appreciate it for the time, but we had, but good luck. Just need Pau Torres as a priority now, along with an attacker. Lucas needs to stay to keep up the morale. He's a guy that's constantly smiling. We need that for at least one more season.
Well, look, smiles can only go so far, right? He could be smiling with tears in his eyes as he's watching from the bench and we're losing games. We need players that can be rotated on and will make a difference consistently. Lucas Moura has my respects for what he's done to this club. But, it is now, when was that? 2019? And it is now 2022. We're going into 2022-2023 season. And we need players who will consistently have legendary games. So that's just my take.
Yeah.
Sorry, James. I have got a quick Raphinha update from Fabrizio Romano.
You're jumping the gun, young Jack. We've got it coming up.
Do you not want to hear it?
We've got it coming up, Jack. We've got it coming up.
Oh, have we? All right. Sorry.
I like Lucas, but for me, he's not good enough for the team going forward. We want to get to the next level, and this saddens me. I love Stevie. He was never given a fair track. 21 million is robbery. He's worth 30 million, surely. How did we allow this? Sad face. But let's get over to that update. Andre, you've got a slide about Raphinha, so let's have a quick Raphinha update.
Sweet, Jack. It's all up to you, man.
Right, so Fabrizio, sadly, nothing groundbreaking, but Fabrizio Romano has just tweeted, Arsenal have already scheduled a meeting with Leeds next week. Leeds will again ask for a 65 million fee. Barcelona are still in contact with Deco after personal terms agreed, but no fresh bid yet. But Tottenham and Chelsea are still in talks with agents. Race still open. How do you feel about this? I'm not sure
Who's
if it's...
Deco, his agent?
I think so.
Is that the Portuguese legend?
He is a Portuguese legend, Deco, but I don't know if that's correlating. But I'm not sure how I feel about this because a lot of reliable tweets like David Ornstein, Alistair Gold have said Richarlison's our priority. So I'm not sure if we're just driving like the thrill factor for Arsenal fans and always pushing that narrative that Arsenal pipped Spurs to a transfer. So I'm not sure how to feel about it. I feel like, yes, we appreciate Raphinha, but maybe he's not our priority. What do you think?
Literally, it's just the fact that Tottenham are monitoring Raphinha, but they don't want to get into a bidding war. They're not here to waste time. And if Arsenal really want to pull the trigger on him, I think Tottenham are just going to move towards Richarlison, which is something that we've been talking about, which is that Richarlison looks like things are heating up, especially with Raphinha heading out. This is like the biggest factor here, the domino effect, if you will. If Raphinha heads out to Arsenal, we're going to possibly be pulling that trigger on Richarlison, especially because we have other players that might be sent off to Everton as well.
I am worried about Chelsea because Chelsea are linked with Raphinha and Richarlison. And if Arsenal end up with Raphinha and Chelsea end up with Richarlison or vice versa, it's not going to leave me in a good mood.
That's probably why Tottenham are just kind of sitting intently at the edge of their seat, waiting to see what happens with Raphinha before they're like, okay, they got him. Let's get Richarlison right now before Chelsea gets him.
But another thing, do you really think Arsenal will get Jesus and Raphinha in 1 week?
Yeah, I feel they will.
I don't think they will.
One thing Arsenal has never had a problem with is spending money.
But no way will they get both of them in a week. I mean, literally, you can probably hit me and that will happen, but I can't see it. They're
backing Arteta. Let's be honest, Arsenal fans were happy with the season, really. They should have obviously finished off the job, but Spurs didn't let it happen, and credit to us because we got the job done. But I can see them spending that money. They've got money to spend, and bringing in Jesus and Raphinha, to be fair to them, it's a statement, and we've got to make sure we up them and make sure we continue to compete at the upper end of the table because we don't want to be looking down, do we, next season? We want to be looking at Chelsea, Liverpool and Man City.
Exactly. Come on, Spurs, sort it out. If we want to be a massive club, let's sign Richarlison and Raphinha. It is the Deco thing. There you go. See, top knowledge. Richarlison is just a much easier deal. We can offer winks in a deal, and there's barely any competition. Whereas there is a genuine race for Raphinha. Cristiano Ronaldo to Tottenham, says Finn. You heard it here first. Well, maybe he might be moving on. I've heard Chelsea links. If I was Raphinha, I'd wait out for a week and wait for the Barca situation. And hey, guys, good afternoon. Spurs #1 fan here from Trinidad and Tobago. What a worldwide audience we've had today. We've had someone from Ghana. We've had someone from Trinidad and Tobago. We've had people in America. It's incredible, guys. What support.
Why?
That boy Ray, big yourself up. #1 fan from Trinidad and Tobago says, forget Christian Eriksen. 23-year-old Eze from Palace. I love this suggestion. What do you think?
Yeah, Eze, he's. I've seen a couple Crystal Palace matches, and he's good.
I like it. He's good.
Absolutely love it, Ray. Let's Arsenal bring them in, and these attacking ain't going to help their awful defense. Yeah, true. And here is that guy we were just talking about, our friend over in Africa. To be honest, losing Bergwijn is something that I'm afraid of. I have a feeling that he'll be a superstar in the future. We wish him all the best. Yeah. I think everyone has that slight inkling he could be really good out Alamin. Tottenham fan from India. There you go. We've got a Tottenham fan from India in here. Tottenham fan from Trinidad and Tobago. Tottenham fan from Ghana. Absolutely love it, guys. Keep coming back for the Spurs Relatables, this worldwide audience we've got. Hey, boys, transfer window slowing down. Surprise, surprise, Louis. It will pick back up next week. I'm calling it now. Remember, I said it. Louis, something will happen next week. Big. My idol, Pabriel Jesus. needs to stat pad against Watford in the Championship or you retire. And to be honest with you guys, that probably sums it up from Army. What about Memphis Depay? Honestly, I'm not going to start speculating and say he's available. I do not know. Maybe we'll bring you something on him next week if anything did come up. But I do not think he's available. He's linked with any clubs. But thanks so much, everyone, for being here. Thanks for all of the support, all the comments, all the great talking points, as always.
James, quickly, James, sorry to ruin your flow, but I have seen, I'm pretty sure we just hit 1,050 subscribers. So we're seriously gaining. Everyone's starting to support the channel. We've literally grown nearly, I think, over 100 followers in a week, and we've only had a couple videos. So I promise you it's only going to get bigger. And yeah, guys, it's been great to see the support recently, and I hope it only continues to improve even bigger than the rate it's doing at the minute.
Absolutely. Well said. Everyone's saying great stream. If you thought it was a great stream and you want to see more next week on several different days, smash a thumbs up on the video. If you're on Facebook, smash the like. If you're on YouTube, thumbs up button just below the video. Subscribe if you're new. And like I said again, really do appreciate all the support, guys. And as Jack said, more videos coming all week. Army, Carl, Finn, you've been in it all video, and along with the guys on Facebook, Zach. There's been so many of you. I could name them all, but you know who you are. Thanks so much. Andre, Jack, thanks for a great panel as always. Great stats, great graphics. And guys, yes, we will be live several days next week. Stay tuned. Come and join us and support the channel. And remember, guys, as always, come on, you Spurs!
Spurs!